Ladies and gentlemen, Gelflings and Goblins, live from the internet, Movie Night Extravaganza invites you to the first annual Movie Night Fantasia Awards with your host, Fantasia Forrest Miller.
Welcome to the first annual Movie Night Fantasia Awards. I feel like every season we ramp this up. We ramp up our wrap up, and we like make it a little bit more, audience engaging. And if you're in the audience, you can put your votes in for all of these categories. We have best and worst hero, best and worst villain, best and worst sidekick, best and worst side character or NPC, I guess, because I like that this is a genre of movies that there are like kind of NPC characters that just kind of like, and you're like, I want to know what happens if she follows that, like the worm in the worm in Labyrinth. You're like, if she had gone in and like met the missus, would the worm have like eaten her, or like what the I don't know. There's so many questions. But
Conan seems to have become an NPC.
Where's that side quest? No, that's fine. I'm just changing audio sources. Sorry.
Don't go over there.
But
where's that Disney Plus series? As I believe I said in the classic episode Labyrinth.
There's also best and worst parent, which is I think the funniest one. And
they're all pretty rotten, to be honest.
Yeah, and I started.
Is there a good one?
I started them at that. Well, the grandpa in The Princess Bride is
there.
The one exception, I think. But of course,
homie Peter Falk.
Yeah, how can you hate
friend of show?
Peter.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a really popular Twitter account that's just screenshots of different episodes of Columbo.
It's like for a second.
It's really like I've been watching it lately, and like sometimes we'll have like John Cassavetes up there. They had one of John Cassavetes in a trench coat with sunglasses, and it was the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Did you ever see the Peter Falk interview where he had to settle down a riot in like Lithuania or someplace like that?
I haven't. It's gold. Yes, it's amazing.
I need to watch that. I haven't.
It's one of the most amazing talk show appearances I've ever seen, and it's doubly funny because it's fucking true.
And just the way he tells it too. I mean, he's just a master storyteller. So it's like you sit back and you learn something, and it's fun and funny.
So we should get into these awards, because we've gone 10 minutes now, and let people into the inner workings, the inner machinations of our mind. No, I was going to say let people get into the chat, but all right, so we're going to start out with best and worst hero. Conan, do you want to give us a little intro?
So again, within many of these movies, because these are 80s fantasy movies, it's about heroes and villains. Generally, there's not a lot of ambiguity. That's why we like them. Especially, Omicron surging, snowing outside, everything's wet and kind of dank and not in the good way.
Possibly getting into a war with Russia over Ukraine.
In the winter.
People.
One of the classic blunders. And, we, at a time like this, one of the reasons why we decided on Movie Night Extravaganza to talk about these movies is because there are heroes and villains. So which ones are the best? Which ones either make us want to be them and or root for them and or hang with them and or do them? And which ones are ones that we want to hate or we love to hate?
I still want to
hate.
Yeah, or actually hate. I think we all know Kristina's answer for any of those, by the way. Anyway, this is where we decide the best of the best. Top line, if this was the Academy Award.
Worst of the worst, I'd say too.
And I was about to say, just as importantly, the worst of the worst. Who could have done better? Who gets the At Least You Tried award? That's right, Forrest. The best, the worst of the worst. This is the category where we figure it all out.
I should say I had a hard time deciding whether to make Lydia the hero. I mean, she is the hero of Beetlejuice, but I included Adam and Barbara as side characters, and then I decided that I was going to go with Beetlejuice as the actual villain. But I think that you could argue different ways, because obviously it's a movie surrounding Adam and Barbara's quest to get their house saved from this family, and I think you could argue that like Lydia is the side character in some ways, and they're the heroes because you're following them most of the time. I didn't go that way,
but the Academy will have its decision. It will never be questioned or really understood. The Academy decides, and that's how we do these awards, as we all know. The first ever one of these, that is how it is done.
So starting with, I guess, worst, because I think we probably collectively already have this one. We don't have to argue it. Tom Cruise. Yeah, Tom Cruise.
Folks,
This is not a film for Tom Cruise.
No, and look, at least he tried.
Yeah.
Could have tried harder if he had pants.
Exactly.
Or if he, practiced using a sword, or had ever seen a sword, or had ever seen a shield. Like, he seemed to not. He's like, weapons, I don't know how to use those. Dude, you cut, you slice. I could figure out how to use a sword. I don't know.
You don't need to read the manual. Exactly. Like, it's pretty straightforward. So of course,
one of my favorite lines from a movie, which I'm blanking on the movie right now, is the pointy end goes in the bad guy.
The 1985 classic Legend, directed by Ridley Scott. Yeah, I think this was a runaway category. I don't think there was ever any question in anybody's mind about this one. It was always his.
Yeah, because if we didn't do Legend, it would end up being probably unanimously the stupid puppet from Jen from Dark Crystal.
Yeah. That puppet has more questions than anything. You know what I mean? Like, right. The crazy thing is that I'd say Atreyu is up on the list of like best heroes, and has zero information going into it. You know what I mean?
And kind of got dicked over because he gets to the childlike empress. He's like, wait, I didn't need to do any of that. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
My horse died in the swamp. You fucking asshole!
Literally died.
My horse stopped caring. My horse did not care about this mission whatsoever and sank into the swamp. My horse has been tweeting. It's black-pilled. My horse is done. Listening to me Trap House. I should have known the warning signs. My horse would not stop talking about Chapel Trap House on the way into this mission. I should have retired this horse.
So I would agree. I think Atreyu's on the upper end limit there because classic hero, right? And also least annoying kid, might I add, of all the children that are at large for most of these movies.
I was going to do that as a category. I was going to do that as a category too, and I don't know. I just didn't have the bandwidth yesterday to do like a 7th.
Well, it's like coolest guy award. All right, cool.
Yeah.
We all know who's going to get it. So, but yeah, I think there can't be any ambiguity about this. The worst one's definitely got to be Tom Cruise in Legend. I mean,
we don't even know his character's name.
I'm having to look at. I'm literally repeating to look
Jack.
at.
I think it's
Jack.
Jack.
Yeah,
Jack.
Jack
very forgettable name unless you're Jack Nicholson.
Yeah,
Jack Nicholson, of course, killed it.
He's not my bro Forrest, but he's a Forrest bro, and dude kind of sucks. Like, he's not great,
and he doesn't even know the Gump.
Yeah,
how can you?
How can he not?
By the way, there is. I'm not saying that the full cut of the movie is better or not. I didn't see the full cut, but I was looking into it. I was looking into it yesterday, and Gump asked him a whole riddle, and there's like a whole scene between them leading up to the thing that I didn't. I mean,
there are definitely things in that director's cut that makes it worth watching if you like the film. But the thing is, though, is like, and it makes some of the scenes are better paced, I think. However, you're missing that great score from Tangerine Dream.
Exactly. Yeah, and
I'm not a Tangerine Dream fan, and I'm saying this.
Right.
But I like their scores, but not their music.
So for me, it's Legend and Thief as like that's a high watermark for Tangerine Dream. So, but again, better scores. Director's cut wins on the color. Andy and I disagree here. But I don't feel as much as you get more with Legend, I don't think you get a better movie.
I can kind of I'm not going to argue with you on that because that's debatable whether you do or not. It's a different experience, and if you enjoy the theatrical cut and you want more of it, definitely watch the director's cut.
And if you want more of it, fucking, you know what I know, but yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And of course, Lady Darkness should definitely chime in as well.
I mean, I'd said Tom Cruise as well. I mean, come on. It's just it's just weird seeing Tom Cruise in a fantasy film. Like that was my first impression when I watched Legend for the first time. I was like, Tom Cruise is in this?
Yeah, exactly. Tom Cruise is in this film. Yeah, exactly. The point I was about to make: pre-dentistry Tom Cruise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kristina, I have a question for you. Second worst, you would say Sarah, right? You were not a fan of her in Labyrinth. You were not a fan of that performance. Like,
I would probably say just because she's just not the brightest bulb in the tanning bed.
A lot of these heroes aren't, though. I mean, like, you know, there's kind of the only hero that really like intrinsically is like, all right, let's fucking do this is like Atreyu. Everybody else
and Wesley.
Well, but Wesley has this entire pirate arc that he has to go through, and his MRA men's rights activism arc where he's like, yo, this lying bitch. That's a weird scene. That's like a jarring scene when he's just fucking with her up on top of the hill and he's just being mad cruel and he's like, women lie. And it's like, damn, dude, chill out, Jordan Peterson. Just, you know,
like and subscribe on YouTube. Exactly.
I must slay the dragon of chaos within this.
No, you have to sound like Kermit the Frog when you're sounding like Jordan Peterson.
No, I was being Wesley.
Okay,
which is weird because Jen is Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, exactly. So the point of order, I think the Academy was very split on how to define the heroes within Princess Bride. Because is Inigo Montoya a hero or a sidekick? Well, a little bit of
worst. I'd say worst, probably worst sidekick. Not because he's not talented at stuff, because he is. He's incredibly talented at swords play, but because he has his own agenda that is completely separate from.
He's just doing his own adventure that's like parallel to the ostensible main character's quest. Yeah,
okay, but who's best hero though?
Yeah, it's a hard choice. I think I would say you really like you have to define it in terms of like most talented hero or quickest on their feet. I mean, I guess I'll say
go
Wesley.
to like this like actual like journey of character development.
I mean, I have to say Atreyu just because of the whole, you know, he lost his horse and he didn't lose it.
Yeah,
like, you know,
I'm gonna back it. And Atreyu got done dirty too. Like Atreyu got done dirty by the childlike empress, and like hashtag never forget that. Like she really, like that was lame. That like he did everything correctly, and it ultimately didn't matter because he's had to do it for the story. So Bastion would say the most terrible name that you could ever name somebody.
Moonchild.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm down to go with Atreyu if we want to make this unanimous. I think Atreyu is he's brilliant throughout this movie. He cares clearly a lot because he didn't.
He's engaged.
Yeah.
And he's got swagger. Like when Homeskillet's like, whatever, some kid, right? All right, And he's like, well, I can go back to, chasing the buffalo, ain't no thing to me, man. All right.
Of course, I'd say Lydia wins the mental health award for not killing herself.
Yes.
I want to promote that. She would have ended up in the fucking neoliberal bureaucracy office, like the DMV of I'm glad she didn't do it.
That still pisses me
along
off.
With Atreyu's horse.
Like that's what happens if you do commit suicide. Like
Atreyu's horse is in the other room because they couldn't. The room's too small for the horse.
It's horse therapy. You know what I mean? Like it's
still covered in mud.
I think Lydia would be like a second or third best hero just because like she was alone, kept to herself. She thought contacting this Beetlejuice dude would be helpful, but then she's like, "Oh, I fucked around and found out. So now we got come up with a different plan." So she did pretty well with being quick on her feet near the end. Obviously,
I think Lydia needs to potentially win the People's Choice Award, but I think it's got to go to Atreyu.
Okay, so We have our best Atreyu. We have our worst Jack. I guess his name is in Legend.
I guess his name is Jack.
Yeah, it is.
Look, let's put it this way. Tom's won plenty of awards, right? Even on this show, despite the protests of some regulars of the show, Tom got lots of praise for Edge of Tomorrow, right?
Yes.
It's fine. Like
and he deserved it.
And Tropic Thunder, like Tom Cruise has his moments. He's not going to go to bed crying because he got worst hero in movie night Fantasia. All right, that's all I'm going to say.
Tom Cruise just stopped watching and downvoted the video.
He's not jumping up and down on the couch.
First of all, how dare you? Secondly, I have words, but yeah, that to me that's been pretty clear. But again, I do think a shout out should go to Lydia Deeds, who's maybe the most unconventional hero.
Yeah,
of a lot of them. And look, how many?
You don't think Atreyu is an unconventional hero? He's a child.
But he was born and bred to be a hero.
Characters are in any movie. A lot of them are children, though, like the hero.
I'm just
set up with Elizabeth Warren as part of the whatever tribe.
Now here's the thing, Trey.
Here's the thing, people. If you're gonna hunt the purple buffalo. Enough. I'm done with that bit, and I started it. Enough. Enough. All right.
You want to queue up? I'm gonna let Conan do his announcer voice.
And the winner is Best Hero, Atreyu, The Never-Ending Story. And winner for Worst Hero. Tom Cruise as Jack in Legend.
He gets the Razzie. It's the worst. we are both the Academy Awards committee and the Razzie committee that decides who gets the worst.
Right.
By the way, getting cheated out of a Razzie would probably be like a low moment for anybody where they're like, well, at least I could get some kind of award, and then they're like, oh no, there's somebody worse than you. There's somebody more dog shit than you that came up.
Yeah, Hoggle might have been in running for that, but
so what's our next category? What's
our next category is best and worst villain.
And now it's time for the best and worst villains for Movie Night Fantasia. That's right. We're talking about the most effective, the scariest, the most keep you up at night sort of villain, and the ones that you do not give a single F about because they suck at their job and it's not great. So here's where we weed out the minor miseries and the ones that will haunt us until our dying breath, which is
and the ones that just stick around on Substack for the next.
That's right. Best and worst villain, movie night Fantasia, movie night extravaganza. Just like the movies we cover, practical effects only.
Yeah.
So I think we kind of collectively decided who we wanted to name as best villain. I think. I mean, we
so
all
what,
kind of.
What makes a villain the best? Let's talk. Why don't we talk about what makes a good villain a good villain?
Yeah, and most of these villains are pretty good.
There's not. It's tough competition, folks.
Yeah, I'm literally like I can't even think of a worst.
I was thinking like some of the alternates that we had that were considering for this month, like Dragon Slayer, or
I think I say Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z, which also has terrible villains. But like Dragon Slayer like doesn't have a memorable villain. No, same thing with like Willow. Honestly, like the henchman looks cool, but like the villain, she's kind of forgettable. Lady Hawk, great film, but again, villain's kind of forgettable in that. But the movies we ended up picking all had just the best villains in it.
Fantastic villains. Even if
we
got
the villains,
movies dog shit.
We got the best villains, and
get a villain. You get a villain. We all get a villain.
I mean, I feel like every villain in this month's movies could have been in Trump's cabinet, frankly. And I think
one of the top, like, what makes a villain, they have to have charisma.
Exactly.
And they all just abundance of it.
You all also have.
I would love to be
attracted to them.
I would love to see Garrett's appointment into Trump's cabinet because
exactly.
He'd be bringing the noise, bringing the funk.
Supreme Court Justice Gareth the Goblin King. Yes.
Yes.
All right. So I think my controversial opinion is that, and this is not based on a performance. The performance is fucking iconic. It's legendary. It's everything you could possibly want. I think that Jareth in Labyrinth is probably the worst villain for the fact that his heart isn't in it, and he's kind of just dragged into like we saw David Bowie kind of say, like, he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to. His heart isn't in it. Yet another kid. He falls in love with her. So like, I think he falls in love with her towards the end of it. Like,
yeah.
So it's like
I certainly did.
I feel like his heart isn't in it, which kind of takes him out of the running for best villain, because I think that, diabolically speaking,
not that diabolical.
He'd rather open up like a performance gallery in Soho than hang out. With those, as we established from the best letterbox review of all time, crumb bum puppets.
Yes.
Well, it's
or maybe be part of
Trump's. How many times are they going to scare the shit out of a chicken? Like, how many times are they going to just kind of...
You get the impression that they do that a lot, too.
Yeah.
Which is like...
I think the chickens would be used to it.
And the chickens are like, this shit? Fine. The things I do for some feet around here, let me tell you.
Two of the best moments, though, I'd say in Labyrinth are the one that I sent earlier during fucking Magic Dance, where where nobody laughs at his joke, and he's like, well, and everyone, like, all the goblins just start laughing, and he's like, there it is. Like,
but let's be clear, he's a more stylish and cock-laden please clap moment.
For please clap.
Yeah. And well, of course, this is the iconic other moment. If we still have it up here, I think we do. Yeah.
Exactly. That is the reaction video of all reaction. That is an all-purpose reaction video.
So one of my Facebook friends, commented on my post last night and just sent that, and I was like, well, it's on my overlay thing.
Look, if this award show and this show does nothing else but make that a reaction to anything, really, I'm for it. We've made an effect on the world, and
our work here is done.
Exactly. Thank you. We've done a good job here, folks.
I was thinking last night when I was putting this together. I was like, look, I don't know if we're the most talented film podcast out there. I don't know if we're the best film podcast out there. There's a lot of them, but I do know that we've had more fieries discourse on this podcast
You're goddamn any other.
Right. Both on and off air, because that has been a topic.
There is no podcast that Chili Down's more with the fiery gang than movie night extravaganza. This is no.
Fiery.
Right?
I wish I thought about that as like a title for this podcast when I first started. Like Chili Down. Chili Down would have been a great like. We were like, oh, what's your podcast name? Chili Down.
Chili Down.
Just chilling in Cedar Rapids in the Hillary Clinton voice. Yeah, Hillary 2024.
Exactly. We love it, folks.
Yeah.
Anyway, what are we doing?
So I think we talked
Best-
off air.
Yeah,
about,
best and worst villain is the category. Right, got it.
Yeah. So we got distracted by a fiery discourse.
It's as one does. It's their nature, so it's only natural.
Yes.
Yes. They are, in fact, the distraction from the plot and fantastic at it.
It would have made so much sense if they were the Wild Things. Like, that would have made perfect because you see the book in the beginning. They kept that shot in there.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been a distraction from the plot because you're like, oh, shit, she's going through her childhood. The fact that at the last minute, Maurice Sendak is like, oh, no, I don't want my creation.
Yeah. I'm fucking with this now.
Actual
Actual quote. Author of the Wild Things.
The Wild Things movie that actually came out in the end after his death. Who knows how he would have thought about that? And
You
also,
probably would have hated it.
yeah.
I thought it looked cool. The end.
Now, best villain.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to keep everyone in line.
Sunday night, and we've been talking for 37 minutes. Can we speed this up? So best villain, I think we did collectively decide on one, right? Like,
yeah, and let's be clear: best villain doesn't mean best movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right?
seriously.
after these ads from our sponsors.
Like and subscribe. So am I announcing this? Are we
Yeah.
All right. So the winner is for best villain, Tim Curry, Darkness Legend.
The crowd's loving it. The crowd is just into it.
I mean, that performance is just so great.
That's the only thing you remember from Legend, that and the fact Tom Cruise is somehow in it.
When I first saw it, I didn't even, remember Tom Cruise. It's like years later, I'm like, wait, Tom Cruise is in this?
Yeah.
I'm also never going to forget, and this is my first time watching it for this series. I'll never forget that this is the first time that you really do see a Forrest Gump. Yeah. I'm traumatized.
Yeah, it's funnier when I did it.
I'm traumatized by Forrest Gump coming out a month before I was born. And my parents seeing they're being like, oh, that's a name for a kid, Forrest. What do we name a kid, Forrest? And then
really,
the rest
you
of my
really
life,
Forrest Gump.
I wasn't. See, they didn't see it. They didn't know what it was about. They liked the name Forrest. They liked the. They were
wait till they read the book.
Well, Forrest Gump's named after a fucking Confederate general, so there you go.
There you go.
And then, of course, we have the other side. So again, congratulations to Tim Curry and all who celebrate. That was clearly far and away, always in deep contention for the much coveted best villain prize.
Yeah.
But of course, to have the best, we also must have the worst. Am I right? Am I right, folks?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. Do you guys agree with my? I'm just asking if you guys agree with my take on the worst. I'm not. It doesn't have to be. I'm just.
Your suggestion is it's the Goblin King.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, just because his heart wasn't in it, like, you know what I mean. Like, it's not.
He wasn't like a villain. He was just.
I mean, he was chilling like a villain.
Woe is me.
I bet he would have had more fun with the fire gang, than he would have with this goblin.
Chilly down like a villain.
Exactly. Sure. Yeah. I mean, what? Who are the other nominees? Like, I don't even remember how we decided this, but I mean, how the Academy decided this. My bad. Sorry. The Academy had a very stringent set of criteria for this. That
are you going to throw it under the bus like Letterboxd? You go, the Academy is just for it.
Yeah, I think it was like what, the Skeksis.
Yeah.
None of them really like even Maybe
More
Chamberlain.
deeply
but-
effectual. Yeah, like they're more just like it's like it's a class system, and they're just used to comfort.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say it's more of like a literal racism. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's these different races of creatures, and they're like, well, our race must reign supreme for our you know. It's like it's kind of a strange, like almost like white supremacist mentality that the Skeksis have.
So Chamberlain is like Jordan Peterson, is what you're saying.
You're gonna fucking let me into this, aren't you?
So I'm gonna go rogue here and say that I think Chris Sarandon as Prince Humperdinck is the worst villain, because first of all, he's deeply ineffectual at attempting to, I guess, start a war over like a kidnapping. Also, is just bad at lying. Like he forgets the whole like, oh, I sent my 3 fastest ships to go fucking do whatever it is you want me to do.
He has a perfect Anakin Padme moment though.
He does, absolutely. But I think from efficacy, his heart might not be in it, but the Goblin King gets shit done. And I can't say the same about Prince Humperdinck. So my vote goes to Chris Sarandon, Princess Bride, Prince Humperdinck.
I guess my thing is that I was always kind of as a kid, like I just felt like his performance as Humperdinck and his like henchman.
Also, who can take someone that's serious with a name like Humperdinck?
I mean,
but like his homoerotic.
My name's Conan Neutron.
his homoerotic henchman, I would say, because I think that there's a little bit of coding going on there when he's like, yeah. So it kind of like when he finally runs in and turns it to 50, I always got chills as a kid because it just feels like they're so empty as human beings that, like, you know what I mean? So I think that maybe like watching Princess Bride as young as I did might have affected like the way that I viewed his, because he's not an effective villain. You're right. He's not an effective anything. He's kind of just trying to start a war. He's Bush. He's literally he's George W. Bush.
He's George W. Bush in fantasy format. He forgets his whole.
And what would that make Wallace Shawn?
Ben Burgess. Anyway,
I was gonna say Dick Cheney, but that works too. So I guess we're gonna need.
Wallace Shawn is not like high up in the like. Wallace Shawn is a like a CIA like one of the people the CIA kind of farms out a mission to. You know what I mean? Like they're like, listen, you're a smart guy. We want you to go over
like
there.
Wolfowitz or something.
He might even be like I mean, Scott Ritter was against the Iraq War, but like one of those like one of the people the U.S. sent into Iraq to kind of do the whole like, oh well, there's probably weapons
like
here. We can't say for sure. Yeah. So Colin Powell.
Sure. I'm glad we're spending so much time on that rather than figuring out the actual answer. So let's give it Kristina. What's your vote for the month?
You know what? I'm gonna go with Chris Sarandon as well, just because like he's literally just like you said, just George W. Bush, and plus, you know, the name just gives it away. Like I would be more afraid of Jareth, the Goblin King, than some.
It depends on what he's gobbling.
Am I right, folks? Am I right? Yes, right.
We have fun here.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get some. Andy.
That's literally my Facebook story right now, by the way, is you laughing when I threw the gun.
I mean, it's fucking astounding. If it gets better than that, don't tell me about it.
It's either Chamberlain, who I'm not quite feeling, or Humperdinck, you know, Prince W. Humperdinck.
So I would.
So you're gonna throw your vote away? Or
I'm gonna go with Prince W. Humperdinck.
All right, well then
there you go.
But I would argue that the villain in Dark Crystal isn't so much Chamberlain as the Skeksis. You know,
Can you name another Skeksis though?
Well, the Gourmands, because I won't listen to way too much Conan. There's 2 of them.
So my favorite worst villain in a surprise upset goes to Chris Chamberlain as Prince Humperdinck, the Princess Bride. A wild upset. The crowd goes wild.
I said mine was going to be an unpopular take, so
and it was. You were not wrong about that.
It was a take that only I supported.
Truth in advertising. No, I appreciate it. Like I've seen the Oscar nominees here. I'm like, really? Y'all see the same movies I did? All right, whatever. But anyway,
Go tick tick boom.
So there you go. That's the best and worst villain. So best villain, Darkness. Worst villain, Humperdinck.
I think this
folks.
next one is going to lead
Better
to
luck next year.
I think this next one's going to lead to a whole debate about things because best and worst sidekick.
No. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So sidekicks.
I'm just a gelfling.
A sidekick, a slang expression for a close companion or colleague, not necessarily in fiction, who is or is generally regarded as subordinate to the one that they accompany. We love the sidekicks, folks. We love it.
Is this really a podcast of 3 sidekicks? At least.
It could be the hero's assistant. It could be someone that assists them on their quest and is intrinsic to the quest itself. They are very important to the story. In some cases, they are more beloved than the actual titular hero themselves. This is where we celebrate the sidekick, folks. Who's the best? Who's the worst? That's right, folks. It's time for the best and the worst sidekick.
Could be 2
companion
sidekicks.
Or colleague.
Could be 2 sidekicks. Could be 6. Could be 6 sidekicks.
Age ain't nothing but a number, and neither are the number of sidekicks.
If we've learned one thing this month.
If we learned one thing from convicted rapist R. Kelly. Anyway, hey everybody. So yeah,
I think we're boring right? Kristina on this Sunday night. She's losing steam.
So all right, Andy, why don't you start us off? You haven't talked in a while. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think probably best sidekicks probably is Falcor because we all want to ride him. That's it. That's the reason why he's the best.
What is a sidekick if not someone you want to ride?
Yeah.
We say it all the time in this camp.
Batman and Robin, Falcor and everybody.
Yeah. Again, the Academy had a lot of issues with defining who is and is not a sidekick, and I believe the ruling from the Academy is Inigo Montoya did not qualify as a sidekick, but Fezzik did, right? If I remember correctly.
All right, so my
Deep State got him.
Yes.
They got Forrest.
Hey, where's the sidekick that produces the show? Am I right? Hey, let me tell you. So, while we wait for the ruling, let's go ahead and talk to Kristina. Kristina, your thoughts?
I do agree with Annie though that Falcor is probably like the quintessential fantasy sidekick for sure. Just because he's so big and cute and cuddly, and who doesn't want to ride him? Just have fun.
Well, and as far as efficacy goes,
second would be Andre the Giant though. Just saying. Like,
Fezzik is actually is,
and you want to ride Fezzik too.
Yeah,
exactly. If we're riding,
you want Fezzik to carry you around. Like, let's be real.
Well, and so here's how I would look at it. Is that think about the quest. Think about what the hero is attempting to accomplish. Falcor takes Atreyu. First of all, rescues him from Gamork.substack.com, and takes him almost the entire way to the Southern Oracle. It's like a 1,000-mile journey. It takes him like until a few miles away, so he can like lamp with some cool folks and check out the Southern Oracle from a distance and learn more about it. From a position of does he help him accomplish the goal, he gives him the best possible iteration of accomplishing the goal, which is to say not to do it for him, but to give him all the information and the wherewithal to be able to finish it himself and make those choices, which that's hard to argue with. Additionally, candidate Falcor also has one of the best scenes in all of these movies, which is the Bastion scene, which I refer to as the get their asses scene, for the bullies, which from the larger position of the movie and for storytelling and bookending the beginning and the end of a allegedly never-ending story. They say it's never-ending, folks, but it actually ended. Lies, all lies. And I think that you got to give props for Falcor going the distance. And like, what's his rationale for this? He's a luck dragon. This is what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's his steez, and you got to say that there's something for that. So that said, dark horse candidate Fezzik in Princess Bride, kind of an awesome dude, right? Like does the rhyming contests to get on Wallace Shawn's character's nuts. Doesn't want to crush Carrie Elwes because it's in poor sportsmanship. Like as far as psychics go, you could do worse. But for me, this contest was never in contention. It was always Falcor.
Yeah.
I wish Falcor was my sidekick in real life, as does everybody else.
I got Frankie.
By the way, I have Icky, who has been on this show more than some of the, Anna Kasparian. So
by the way, if I get kicked off again,
Anna Kasparian, come back in the show. Thank you.
I'm having slight internet issues, I think, with the snow. There's like a shitload of snow.
Damn it.
Well, everybody in Legend was having issues with the snow as well, and
yeah.
That was.
Speaking of worst sidekick,
I didn't see them log on. I didn't see them log on to the internet one time in that movie. So
I mean, Puck. Puck feels like Puck. It feels like Puck should be a good sidekick, but I not really.
But he wasn't Puck in this. He was Gump.
He was Gump. That's right. You know what? I forgot the fucking character's name, which shows you how memorable it is.
I mean, it was clearly supposed to be Puck, but it was
we keep making the same joke about it too, and
yeah, well,
yeah, like it's just very forgettable and just
take Jack, my Legend, please.
Jack, my mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
So to me, I feel like this is a unanimous decision, and right that best sidekick, Falcor the Luck Dragon, never-ending story. Everybody, that's right.
I mean, come on. We had to, that's why I drew everybody on Falcor.
Right, exactly. And that's maybe my favorite album art, my favorite poster art of this show, whatever the fuck we do in here, of all time. Like it's great. I'm for it.
I think the greatest thing about Falcor is when Atreyu is like, oh, we have to go 10,000. Like he's like, we have to go 10,000 miles, and Falcor's like, no, like we've already gone.
Yeah, I already took you. So that's what you missed, Forrest, in your absence, consulting with the Academy, was that we talked about like what a bro move it is, not to take him the whole way, but to take him far enough that it's an easy walk and like to some cool people he can hang out with and learn more about where he's going to. That is a sidekick. That is a sidekick that goes above and beyond the Call of Duty.
Harvey K and his wife that they're ready to teach him about the New Deal, FDR, and really just.
So Harvey K is Falcor now?
No, I meant
it's the Southern Oracle. He's the world's foremost expert on the Southern Oracle. He's on all the Reddits. Everyone knows
FDR was the Southern Oracle the whole time.
I just thought we all wanted to ride Harvey K now.
Look, while lesser scholars, point of order, while lesser scholars are busy staring at the tits of the Southern Oracle, he was doing the real research, right? Okay,
yeah,
that'd be better. Go over better.
No, you're right. Yeah.
By the way,
and I remember as a kid staring at the tits of the Southern Oracle.
Yeah. I mean, like,
oh shit, a movie. Finally, a movie with some good fucking titties in it.
At least they don't look like Joe Rogan's nipples.
Well, and here's if you are interested, so the idea is right that the Southern Oracle is it's supposed to, if a hero doubts themselves, right, then that's when the Southern Oracle regulates on them. So what could be more in doubt? You're like traveling, 10,000 miles and you're like, wow, that seems like it would be hard to fit a bra on that Sphinx. Like you're sitting there and then like you start doubting everything. Cause like you're being like, well, God damn, like where do they shop? Like, and then next thing you know, you're dead. It's over. Your quest is done.
If I knew this was going to be the subject, I would have tried to get a good sponsor for bras.
I mean,
bras.com.
Because we can transition right now to like, someplace cool. And you're like, hey,
you walk in and, you go into all these bra stores. Your girlfriend needs something, and it's expensive. Bras.com. It's not, folks.
You need support like Falcor gave Check out these bras.
You're not going to care. You're going to feel like you got hit with a great nothing when you see our fucking prices.
But in order for there to be a best, there absolutely must be a worst.
I think we're unanimous on this one too, right?
There's no question in my mind whatsoever. Like we consider calling this a golden hoggle for a reason, because quite frankly, Hoggle is maybe the worst sidekick of all cinema, and certainly of this month's movies. Hoggle sucks. Hoggle, you are the worst. Hoggle.blogspot.com. He's not even on Substack. He knows no one's going to subscribe to
it. You have no pride.
No, Hoggle, no pride.
So that's my vote. Locking that in, Hoggle. I know, controversial choice.
Read my WordPress. No. No one's gonna fucking do that.
No one's reading it. Zero comments. Oh, shocking.
Yeah, his WordPress is nothing but like hate about Brie Larson.
Yes. Poorly punctuated with no paragraphs, breaks. Yeah.
Hoggle goes with an unpopular opinion about January 6th. And one that neither makes the people that stormed the Capitol happy or the people that oppose it. He's like, I have an unpopular opinion about January 6th.
He says someone managed to piss everybody off, which is a pure Hoggle trait of just being like annoying to literally everybody. Yes.
Indeed.
So
he drugs a 14-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, like that should be enough, right? Like if your sidekick is drugging you, he probably fucking sucks. I'm gonna go on a limb there.
Ladies, if your sidekick,
am I wrong?
No, sidekick is drugging you. You need a new. It's the worst.
I got a sudden flashback to Frank Miller's Batman and Robin All-Star Batman and Robin book. Where Batman does drug Robin and then like makes him eat bats for a month.
Well, yeah, Batman's always drugging Robin. That's their whole thing, right?
Yeah, like leaves him in a cave in the dark to eat rats.
What show did Kristina and I wander into? Because this is the show I agreed to.
I'm just like, wait, no, that's not the same as Hoggle. My bad. Continue.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah. I look. I can't put the what the hell is Andy talking about because we have like the real banner, but let's pretend I did.
Rob.
The only one that seemed to really get into serious contention, ironically, was what a character is very popular, which is Inigo Montoya. And the reason why is because he's fully fleshed out character with an agenda of his own that conflicts with Wesley's all the time. And
his own sidekick, which it's weird to be a sidekick with us. And there's the Eric Andre bit.
It's like the inception of a sidekicks, really.
No, there's an Eric Andre bit where Hannibal gets his own sidekick. Because like Eric Andre's show, he has Hannibal as his like co-host or whatever. So there's one where Hannibal gets Felipe Esperanza, who's another comic, to be his like co-host. So it's like a co-host. And I realized watching Princess Bride this time, like that's what fucking Fezzik is.
Exactly. Take that, liberals. So is there any is there any question? But let's be clear, man. Hoggle.wordpress.com is gotta be the worst, right? Does anybody disagree? All right.
Yeah, he's not even on Substack. He's not even on Medium. Like nobody reads anybody.
Nobody told him because nobody likes him. So nobody told him about any of those things.
Yeah, he promotes everything on Tumblr.
Yeah, he's sitting there on his Friendster being like, why is nobody answering me on Friendster? Anyway, worst sidekick. Here we go. Hoggle Labyrinth. But credit where credit's due.
Mm-hmm.
He does get a little bit better, marginally better. Maybe he unsubscribed from the men's rights activist forums.
Hoggle got off Reddit.
Stops drugging his female friends and he's on a date with them. It's not a date; it's a quest, bro.
In all seriousness, though, that puppetry performance off the chart. Like, try to be serious here. The most
all right, Conan broke me for a second with the quest, bro.
But yeah, no. The performance of the combination of like 18,000 puppeteers, and the dwarf was that or short person or whoever. I can't. I don't remember how they stacked it up.
You were doing so great, Andy. Yeah. Yeah, as a technical achievement, Hoggle.
Yeah, no technical achievement. Hoggle is amazing. Just absolutely.
Hoggle is a fantastic character, but as a sidekick, sucks dong. Right?
Well, we watched the Jim Henson company thing where they're talking about how Hoggle is like the most complicated.
It's great.
Yeah.
And his arc is actually good too. As a character, his arc is good too. But as a sidekick, the guy's not.
Hey, Kristina, do you have any thoughts? Do you have any thoughts to add to this?
I mean, like I agree. Like everything about Hoggle is like physically like just amazing with the puppeteering and whatnot. But like as a character, he's but as a sidekick, it's like no, he's doing the complete opposite of what a sidekick is supposed to do.
Awful. Like maybe the worst sidekick of all time. Like honestly, like just
and that's saying a lot.
And it's not like Jennifer Connelly's character is like particularly astute as a heroine. Like I mean, she's not like she makes mistakes up and down the line. Like whatever. She's young.
Your arrogance.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and she's kind of, pretty confident for someone that makes all the wrong decisions all the time, always.
Yep.
But yeah, worst sidekick. I mean, like not helpful.
I mean, I think Labyrinth probably my top pick for a movie this month. And I think I watched it as a kid. I don't remember if I did. I definitely watched Dark Crystal as a kid and got flashbacks to that. But as the story of someone who's growing up, right? Like as a story of someone who's like discovering their womanhood, I guess is the term for it. Like it makes sense that they're overconfident, right? Like everybody, everybody kind of as a teenager is like, I'm getting this. I'm completely like Like, oh, I went out to a party on a Saturday night. My parents didn't even catch me fucking going out. Like, I came back. I watched my brother. Like, I'm getting this. Like, that makes sense. But it's funny looking at it in context of whether they're an effective heroine and whether this is an effective sidekick and whether, you know what I mean? Like, it's interesting looking at it.
Not an effective heroine. I didn't get high once.
Okay,
it was all fentanyl.
I'm gonna throw y'all a scenario. Can you imagine if Labyrinth, but replace Hoggle with Falcor?
Oh.
Well,
I think that movie's like 2 minutes long at that point.
Yeah, he would have known.
Yeah.
He would have been like, "Look, you went the wrong way. Let me just fly you to the fucking goblin."
Yeah, let me fly
that
you.
way. Actually.
Yeah, but more fun, possibly.
Look, you're cute, cuddly. Why are you telling me what to do?
Okay, stick with me. I'm going somewhere with this. Neverending Story replace Falcor with Hoggle.
Oh,
I knew where you were going with that as soon as you said that.
no.
Atreyu would have drowned himself in the swamp.
Yeah, like let's say
He
Gamork
got the
doesn't
Hoggle,
kill
that was
Atreyu
doing it.
immediately. Yeah, like let's take out the like ridiculous. Okay, yeah, Gamork kills him immediately. Sure, let's say that doesn't happen, but he has to go. Was it 1,000 miles? 10,000 miles? What is it?
It's 10,000 miles.
He has to go 10,000 miles to the Southern Oracle with Hoggle.
You're never gonna make it.
Yeah, I mean, like, is that
I just sank into the swamp.
it turns into the story of Job pretty quickly there, you know. But anyway, yeah, that's my thought experiment.
Well, the thing about Labyrinth, I'd say also is that they're personal stakes for her. Unlike Neverending Story, right? Like everybody in Neverending Story, he's trying to get people to care, and he's like, "Listen, everything's gonna be gone. Like they're like the great nothing is gonna take over everything." And everyone was like, "I don't care. This fucking sucks." In Labyrinth, if her brother turns into a goblin, nobody else is impacted by that. It's just her returning home and being like, "I lost my baby brother." Like that's the entire the worst
Stuff
case
got
scenario.
crazy.
Oh, he's a goblin baby now.
Yeah,
But everything else continues as it is, and then you know that
it's like
kid's
fucking around with chickens suddenly, you know.
Yeah.
I do think. Yes. So I also think, by the way, my thought experiment would be fun to go through for the other categories if y'all are into it. Because think about the best hero.
I think Kristina
The
is
worst
definitely into it.
So think about who's our best hero? Like we decided it was Atreyu, right? Imagine Neverending Story with Jack.
Falcor's like, put some
Legend.
pants on first.
Yeah, first of all, put some pants on. You're sitting on my neck, and this is getting weird.
Should he be drilling down like that?
I don't think that movie goes the same way at all. I think
It's not that
Bastion was
kind of
like,
hole.
I think Bastion stops reading the book, and I think everything's fucked for forever. That's what
Yeah.
And then by the same token,
it's literally this. I don't care, and then Tom Cruise going shit. I don't care either, and then it's like,
there you go.
Okay.
The end. It's a 20-minute movie, and then by the same token, imagine Legend, the movie Legend, with Atreyu, which I think that hits differently too. I think never get imprisoned.
Changes the movie.
Yeah, it maybe becomes interesting.
There's no romance.
Yeah, exactly. I sure as hell hope there isn't. That kid's like 12 years old. But more effective from a storyline. And then so then by the same token, same thought experiment, going to our best villain. And if I thought of this earlier, I would have introduced a bit earlier. Best and worst villain, right?
Oh boy.
So Legend, but instead of Tim Curry as Darkness, we have Prince Humperdinck.
She would not be tempted at all to go off with him.
That would be even more forgettable.
It would be the comedy that it probably should have been, but I don't.
He's looking
I don't
over.
think
He's
any part
looking
of it
over
works.
he's looking over like this, like the fucking like Darkness and Legend, but over there is this fucking side like henchman. He's like, yeah.
Right.
Six-fingered man. Hello.
You know what that extra finger can be used for?
Oh. So by the same token, and
you know I love
think about-
watching you work.
Actual quote from that film, by the way.
An amazing quote from that film because it sets it up as they're kind of like a married couple where he's like,
no.
I love watching you work, but like I got my own things to do. I'm planning a wedding. It sets it up not just as that it sets it up not just that he's in a relationship with his henchman. It sets it like the six-figured man. It sets up that he's kind of the more feminine one in that relationship. He's like, oh, I have a whole wedding to plan, and things are going to be crazy, and I have to plan a war. And it's like
the original power bottom.
The other guy is doing the raw power of like torturing someone, and he's like, I love watching you torture, but I got to plan this wedding and like.
Well, I'm glad you said that, Forrest, because buckle up, Buttercup. Think of Tim Curry as Darkness in The Princess Bride in that specific role, and think about how that changes that movie. I think. We may have found the one and only way that would improve that movie for me. That like everyone treats him as if he's just a normal dude and not like an 8-foot tall demon with like gigantic horns. They have the same like clearly coded homosexual relationship, right?
I love watching you work, but I can't right now. I have a wedding to plan.
And you get Buttercup. And you get Buttercup, who look, all praise to Robin Wright, fantastic, beautiful, wonderful in every way, but a dope.
Yeah.
Who is like buying that like this gigantic devil is sending his 3 fastest ships to go find.
I'm sending my 3 fastest ships. They're going to come back with your fiance. Don't worry.
Yeah, all right. But if not,
yeah, that's right.
You must marry me. It's like,
yeah. These mashups have there's some weight to them.
But I really fucking, because this is a running joke that I keep fucking saying, not just on the show but in life. I really like the idea of Tim Curry as Darkness over Wesley. Like when he's torturing him, going,
to the pain.
Wesley.
Yeah.
No, he goes,
the torture. Yeah.
How could you? I'm turning this machine up to 50.
Character.
Well, there's the Rocky Horror Picture Show, right? He turns everyone into statues towards the end of it. The Rose Tint My World, sequence. I've watched that movie. I've watched that movie 150 times. But like there's that sequence, and you can imagine Tim Curry doing that same thing, but it's the torture machine, and he's like, because he does it so spitefully.
Yeah.
Oh, Wesley, how could you?
There you go. So that's the retconning of that bit to the early categories we already covered. So what's next, Forrest?
Okay, so this is the one that we are all excited for. The one that we're going to talk about probably for another 3 hours.
Bring it on.
No, best and worst side character. Now, the definition of side character in this case is a little bit weird. Like
it's not a sidekick. It's not a sidekick. It's very different, right?
But in this case, I think that I picked characters that I think aren't always like I picked Otho for one of them because I think that he I don't think that he necessarily qualifies as a side character in the same way that like the Fireys do, where it's like a one-off situation where you're kind of just meeting this character. But like, where else?
But where's his version of like Better Call Saul? Where's that? Is what I want to know.
I also think that Better Call
Disney
Saul would be amazing.
Conan.
Well, I also think Better Call Saul would be amazing with Beetlejuice, but not dead Beetlejuice. Like I think that Breaking Bad is dead Beetlejuice and Better Call Saul is alive Beetlejuice. And because they do the same, he looks in the mirror in the first episode. Well, we talked about in the first episode of
we did
Better Call Saul. He does the whole you have messed with the power of nature, Howard, and I won't have it. He does that whole speech, and when he looks in the mirror in the first episode, he goes, "It's showtime, folks," and does the fucking Beetlejuice line. So
as he goes to Juilliard.
So here we go. Side characters. Let's go, baby.
Good, man.
It's all good, man. That's so good. That's right, folks. They're not sidekicks, but they are side characters. Who's the best? Who's the worst? Tune in. Let's stay tuned and find out together. That's right. And maybe we can unmute our host while we're at it. Okay.
I forget that I have to be muted when I'm doing a video. I think this one's a little bit tough because the fiery scene is something that we've talked about endlessly. And
they won, they got it. Best
best fireys, they win, yeah.
I think I would agree with that. But at the same time, Miracle Max is an amazing character in Princess Bride, and
Miracle Max is a tough competition for this incredibly important category.
So's Catherine Hellman. Let's not forget Catherine Hellman.
Well, exactly. She was fantastic. I don't think she quite made the nomination. Maybe next
year.
Yeah,
I don't think so either. But I just wanted to shout her out because honestly, that one scene she's in Time Bandits is just it's fantastic.
Well, and I think
the same way as the worm.
Exactly. So the characters that we're thinking of for these categories, I think we have to think of them as something we think of as intrinsically connected to the movie, but really serve no narrative function or very little narrative function other than to amuse or delight.
Yeah. And that's why I picked Robin Hood for Time Bandits. And
fantastic.
And
perfect example.
And I could have also picked Napoleon. I could have also picked Sean Connery's I'm not even
Agamemnon.
The name of,
Agamemnon.
Right? biblical king.
That's the one you have problems with. You say fucking more difficult words like that on a daily basis. Whatever.
Agamemnon.
Anyway,
oh, you got to sound like that.
Agamemnon.
I'm King Agamemnon.
Decree number
Spanish. I'm Egyptian. Wait. Oh,
exactly. I'm doing Highlander. By the way,
decree number 57. Sometimes sometimes it's okay to hit a woman. Like Agamemnon, chill.
Agamemnon, stop.
Sean Connery's famous quote where he's like, "Listen, I know that things are getting a little more politically correct, but sometimes a woman deserves."
Oh yeah. Didn't he say something? I believe that. I can't remember if this was he actually said it or a parody, but like sometimes it's okay.
No, it was the actual Sean Connery.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the quote was sometimes
shaken, not slapped. Anyway.
Just give her a bitch slap, I believe was the takeaway from that, which is wow, what a cool guy. Anyway,
Bond,
I'm
right?
so glad that he was James Bond. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, all right, so point of order. This is about the best side character. But being the best side character doesn't mean that you add or advance the plot. It's that you want to see more of what these characters' lives are like.
Yeah.
You know, what
Like
is
Pirate.
Miracle Max and Carol Kane? I forget her character's name. Sorry. What's their average Tuesday look like? Right. You know, what are the Fireys up to later?
Do they always sing songs? Like,
Are they always singing the same song?
Yeah.
John Cleese's Robin Hood spends a lot of time, jolly good, like doing the glad handing thing. Like, does he ever actually do any work?
Well, they said within our clips that we watched, they were talking about how he got his inspiration for that character from like the Duke of Kent. And
right.
They were like,
the actual royalty, which is fantastic and like great role. But yeah, so that's
one. That is a long time.
But think about what can a side character be like? What about not Fezzig, but Fizzgig? The GIF before they were GIFs, right? Like Fizzgig, what the fuck does Fizzgig do in that film? Not much of anything, but is awesome. Like Fizzgig is just sits around being awesome, and like you don't really have. There's no purpose in the story for Fizzgig other than to I'm laughing at you or like whatever. Like Fizzgig is just there. So a side character that does not intrinsically add to the plot, but adds to our experience as the film goer.
I can't stop thinking about every time I see that character though as Animal, where he's like Animal, Animal. Like he's Animal, but just like the hedgehog version of Animal.
Right. And let's think about what would Never Ending Story be without the rock biter, right? Which like, what does he do? He shows up on his frickin' steamroller. All right, first of all, kind of weird, and like he's a rock gourmet. He likes eating rocks, and he
different than a rock gourmand.
Exactly. But what purpose does the rockbiter serve other than to show that Fantasia is a wild ass world, has a bunch of cool shit in it that like we cannot hope to know or understand? But they are all,
and also that it's a multipolar kind of world, right? Like it's a place where there's a north that's different than the south. I should.
There are peoples of all over, and they have life streams, aspirations, and maybe some of them like eating rocks, and that's okay.
Or have a really fast snail.
Exactly. Maybe they raise snails in that area. Who knows? How dare you?
I like when he's like, "That is a fast snail." Like, oh shit.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh fuck, my bad, y'all."
He's like, "Don't worry, just ride on me." And he's like, "No, I got a racing snail." And he's like, "Oh man, that's a snail.
Yeah, that shit's fast."
That is an Adderall snail. Jesus Christ.
I need Adderall.
So again,
I'm sorry we're boring you so much, Kristina. I would also be bored on a Sunday night.
No, the problem is I haven't been sleeping despite having trazodone.
Yeah, I fall into that. I fall into that quite often too. I get insomnia. The other night when I was live tweeting, watching the Sam Cedar and Jackson Hinkle debate at 4 a.m., it was because I was completely sober, bored, and just couldn't sleep. And I was listening to that as I fell asleep, and was like, "Yeah, this fucking sucks. I wish I didn't listen. I wish I picked anything else." Sam Cedar, come on the show.
So the point of a side character is also to establish the world and establish the stakes for our hero or heroine to work with. And it may not be that they are important to the plot. In fact, it may be important that they are not important to the plot.
Yeah.
But all of them are important in their ways.
That is a good description. Conan, 4'1".
Right. So for me, I'm talking about the best and the worst, right? And like again, I mentioned like where's the Better Call Saul to Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is Breaking Bad, right? Like perfect example. Like what's that dude's deal? Like how did he get to be like this, like in this situation? Wait, hold on. I got one for that. I bet you're wondering how I got here.
and you get a 1-sentence description that, like, raises far more questions than it answers. Like, you get like, oh well, he used to be a civil servant and he used to be her assistant, and it's like, number one, how could that guy have ever fucking possibly worked in an office?
There's no possible way that guy ever was. No, forget about it. It's over.
Come on down to the office.
He couldn't deal with the horse in the next room.
So yeah, this is a difficult. This is a difficult.
Which, by the way, is the plot. I not to interrupt again, which I will, but which is kind of the plot of Better Call Saul. Like the fact that he isn't capable of kind of having this law practice, and that he's way too colorful to be in this situation is kind of reminiscent of Beetlejuice. And like, they don't mention Beetlejuice as a reference to when he goes, "It's showtime, folks." But like, you know, thinking about that, like watching Better Call Saul, it's like, no, that is someone who's way too fucking flamboyant to fit in within a corporatized world, the same way that it seems like Beetlejuice would have been far too colorful to fit into the DMV, Ghost DMV.
Yeah, I mean, like it would have cramped his style. It would have he would not have been able to be his authentic and true self.
And I can just see him stealing that bit from Lewis Black, going, "If it wasn't for that horse, I wouldn't have left the DMV."
And then, so by the same token, and popular punching bag on this show, legend, Meg Mucklebones. What's up with Meg Mucklebones, right? Like, what's that all about? Like, is she trying to eat him, have sex with him, both at the same time? Some praying mantis stuff.
Indeed, I do.
That's why I'm like, word.
That's why the director's cut actually really kind of clarifies that a little bit, because
she wanted to fuck him, didn't she?
One of the like I said, it is for people who
want to change this to the Andy Explains banner so bad right now. But actually, maybe I will.
Meg Mucklebones reminds me of the scene in 22 Jump Street where it's I forget her fucking name from Workaholics. That is the girl that Jillian from Workaholics, and she's in 22 Jump Street, and he's like Jonah Hill's like,
that's the second one of those films. There's two of them, right?
Yes, there's two of them. So it's the second one of those films. They're fighting on a rooftop, and Jonah Hill's like, "Are you trying to fuck me or fight me?" And she's like, "I don't know, either one." That's what the big
that's big Meg Mucklebones energy. Yeah, definitely, for sure. And then, so look, who else do we have in this category? We mentioned Fizzgig, right? The Fire.
We mentioned Robin Hood.
We mentioned Robin Hood.
That is a good reference.
We kind of touched on Miracle Max.
We talked on Miracle Max, who, by the way, Miracle Max, very important to the plot of Princess Bride.
Yeah,
like so, almost quite doesn't qualify because of that. But they have to like.
But Carol Kane, I think goes along with him, whatever her character's name is, because. Yeah,
I only remember Miracle Max's name because it's literally Miracle Max, and it sounds like it would be like there'd be like a website that you go to and like you like make an appointment or something. But and then
MLT, mutton, lettuce, and tomato. When
mutton, lettuce, and tomato.
Mutton is nice and lean.
It's just nice
I
and
love
lean,
that.
Exactly.
I am still shocked that Meg Mucklebones is played by a man.
Yeah, Robert Picardo.
Yeah, that's. Go ahead, Andy.
From Star Trek Voyager, he played the Doctor.
Yeah,
probably his best known role.
I was like, what? Nice.
No, he's fantastic. Another great early performance of his was in Joe Dante's classic The Howling, where he played a werewolf. Apparently there's a great blooper reel on the DVD where the balloons explode while he's transforming into a werewolf. And it really hurt him.
JG Michael can get Joe Dante on the show and hasn't yet, and I'm kind of offended about that because I just emailed Nomiki Konst and got her to agree to come onto Parallax Views. And when we do our political month, I definitely want to ask her to come on the show too. But and he hasn't gotten Joe Dante on the show. I'm offended.
Joe Dante coming moving to Extravaganza. Also Josh Olson, who I like as well.
Also Nomiki Konst, but
Nomiki, come on. Francesca's coming back on. All the cool kids are doing it. Let's go.
It's gonna be me and Frank though. Let's go.
All right, this is the longest bit in the history of this fucking award show. So let's wrap this up. So we get it. Like They sometimes advance the plot, but not always. Best and worst, right? So for the best, who you going with, Kristina? You go first. There's been enough.
Fire.
Chili down with the fire gang. Do you think I can?
Fire gang.
Exactly.
Are they gonna
I want to know
take
what
this
they're
down
all
if I say
about.
that?
Like, yo, let me when I come and visit you guys, sing me a song too. Why not? Like, seriously,
Yeah.
like that's what's gonna happen. They better sing for me because
Do they have different songs for different days and different activities? One could hope
people.
so.
Like, do they just do the whole shebang? What's the deal?
Do the other songs slap as hard?
Yeah, exactly.
They're
Additionally,
also just kind of a frat, which is kind of really funny. Like,
yeah, where are you going to the head like that? Exactly. I mean, it's
Yeah,
all right. That's guys, you made it weird. And then they get all pissed off that she breaks the rules without anyone, of course, ever explaining the rules, which is the conceit of the joke.
Yep.
And then worst sidekick ever actually does one of the best sidekick things in that movie, which is like throw the rope. But anyway, fiery gang, the Fireys.
Yep.
Andy, what's up? What do you got?
As much as I want to say Miracle Max because I love Carol Kane, she's not the Fireys.
They call him the Fire Gang.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Afghanistan is ending. We're sending in the Fire Gang.
Look. Do we need to discuss this anymore?
The Fire Gang is their BlackRock.
Wow.
Oh my God! They're taking off all those heads in Afghanistan.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's gonna get bloody real quick because they just do not understand the concept of not being able to throw your head.
Listen, we are Eric Prince, our good friend, head of the Fire Gang, did not explain the rules to them. They're going in. They are taking heads. The Fire Gang. It's the Fire Gang. What do you want?
All right. So then, best side character, Movie Night Fantasia Awards, first annual, goes to the Fire Gang.
Yeah! Woo!
Sorry, I'm not.
Was there any question?
I will say, I think Miracle Max gave some good competition here.
Yeah, especially since we're pairing him with Carol Kane.
Yeah, the pair of them it's a strong pair. It's a strong pair.
Yes.
So controversial topic.
Worst
Side character.
Meg Mucklebones.
Meg Mucklebones.
Oh, indeed, I do.
Andy, go.
Yeah, I might have to say of the choices, Meg Mucklebones is certainly probably the worst, especially in the theatrical cut, because you don't have the full scene to really appreciate.
She doesn't get her day. Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah. That's like I said, there's a reason to watch the director's cut, but not don't sweat it if you aren't going to watch it.
Yeah, don't put too much effort into it.
Frankly. Yeah, no. Only for those 3 people who want more.
Forrest, you or me? Who's next?
I mean, I'm. You go next. I'm
because I'm conflicted. Because honestly, I adore Fizzgig as a character on LiveJournal because that's how old I am. I had a LiveJournal, right? That one of my reacts was Fizzgig. Like when I thought something was funny, it was like But on what the fuck exactly does Fizzgig do? What does Fizzgig do? Like, other than just like, yeah, it's fun. And again, like, it's like animal, but fantastical.
The first emoji.
Do?
Like he's an
emoji.
Groundbreaker.
Right? He's a groundbreaking emoji.
He is an all your base are belong to us kind of guy.
Yeah. So I really wanted to go with Fizzgig. As much as let's be clear, I adore Fizzgig. I've worked with Fizzgig. Fizzgig's a master thespian. But I think that we
have
really
you ever heard Fizzgig on slide guitar?
I mean, Fizzgig, people talk more and more about his acting ability, but as a musician, second to none, really. One of the great blues masters. But I gotta say,
Ralph Macchio
and Fizzgig, yes, Both of them. And Steven Seagal. Ralph Macchio, Fizzgig, Steven Seagal. We call them the 3 Bs, really, which means the 3 Blues Masters is what that acronym means. Kristina knows. She knows all about it. She's heavy. Yeah. She's a heavy poster in the blues forums.
Mm-hmm. And the Ralph Macchio board too.
the Crossroads subreddit.
There you go. It's all the rage.
Probably the least favorite movie that we.
I mean, technically speaking, it wasn't for this show, which is Ghosty Froze. That was for Kenzo's show, but
goddamn Snow.
Yeah. But I gotta say,
who knows?
So yeah,
Kenzo did it.
It may have been Meg Mucklebones, because I gotta say, y'all convinced me.
Yep.
Y'all convinced me. The award for worst side character. Meg Mucklebones, legend. Oh. And you know, I feel like there's something there, but for such a cool looking character, it doesn't work. And I've seen the director's cut with its inferior score and superior colors, and it still doesn't work. There's more. Oh, there's more, all right. Yep. But it doesn't fucking work. And if it doesn't work, I don't give a shit about it.
Yeah. And the performance is good too, but again, it doesn't work. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't. You know? It just exactly. And so
I'm sorry. Much love to Robert Picardo. Come on the show.
Robert Ricardo, please. We'll talk about Meg Mucklebones for at least a half an hour, and it'll be fantastic. Come on the show. But it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And as a side character, let's look at our template of the Fireys, where you're like, I want to know more about their day. What do they do all?
They sing and dance with everybody? Like, what's going on?
Is it a derivation of the same song? Do they have different songs? Like, you know, like what? Like, you want to know more about their world. And with Meg Mucklebones, like, oh, that character's cool. Oh, gone. All right, whatever. Who gives a shit? Like, which honestly that's legend in a nutshell, isn't it? I mean,
and the other thing too is like you also were in the same movie with Tim Curry giving that performance as Darkness,
right?
And like, it doesn't matter how cool Meg Mucklebones is and how great a performance that Robert Picardo gives. It's not Darkness.
It's you. Guess what? You're not Tim Curry, so nobody's gonna care. So I think we're gonna be in a situation where it's Meg Mucklebones not able to bring it forward yet again, but not for lack of trying or not because like the character is necessarily terrible.
What was that?
That
was me. That was me both on my phone.
It was Meg Mucklebones answering, actually. She jumped up out of the swamp.
Oh, indeed I do.
Indeed I did. Oh. But
I'm really sorry for tonight, by the way. We got 6 inches of snow, and apparently the internet doesn't know how to act.
Isn't that the name of the rapper?
Basically, isn't that Kristina's homeland of South Carolina?
It sucks.
The internet doesn't know how to act. Just like cars in South Carolina don't know how to act and hit each other.
Don't get me started on drivers down here, man. They keep adding stuff on the most congested road there is. Stop putting stuff on Whiskey Road, people. It's not going to fix anything.
Whiskey Road. I live on Whiskey Road.
Whiskey Road. Can I just say, while we're saying yo in front of things, can we just say?
I'm the person at the end of the road. The whiskey, the worst whiskey, of course. Just
which can I bring up 90s rapper Snow, who had the record 12 inches of snow? Thank you.
He also had the classic though.
Inform. Keep moving
down. Yes.
No,
but I remember
you cannot hate on Snow when fucking Vanilla Ice just made an anti-COVID song like a week ago.
Exactly.
All right, stop.
Hey, where's that rap beat, right?
COVID's taken.
All right, it's enough. Let's keep back in. Let's put it back in the rails here.
COVID's faking. Goodness sake. Wait.
Meg. God damn it. Point of
All right,
order,
stop.
Meg.
Stop right and
at least you
listen.
tried.
Code's fake, and I'm gonna go fishing. Yeah, I guess Vanilla Ice. Vanilla Ice, you're
think
killing
so?
it. Remember when he had that show where he was
Francesca, don't watch this show, by the way. If you're watching this show,
This
turn it off.
is a wrap up. It's different than the other ones. It's better than the wrap up where it was 5 hours and I drank an entire bottle and was just drunk arguing with Renee about Australia and socialism.
I agree with every sentence you just said, by the way. Also, and this format's very fun. And I'd love to see it through. Do we have any, like, what are the other, how many more categories you got? 7? What is it?
I didn't get to go.
Oh, all right. Well,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Who's your pick?
Vanilla Ice. Oh, wait, no.
Wait,
I
what
already
movie was he
awarded
in?
it to Meg Mucklebones, which was a surprising
Yeah,
thing.
no, Meg Mucklebones is my pick. I just feel like
Okay, cool. Right on.
I just feel like all right, Tom Cruise learned how to use a sword and a shield. Like that's all you really take out of that
fucking
exchange.
deal.
Yeah. Oh, we fucking get it. You got a sword.
And I think
shield.
and
Cool.
I think that as far as fairy tales are concerned, I think Meg Mucklebones actually makes sense in the sense of like, you know, there's always kind of these smaller dragons.
The Tom Bombadil, right? The classic is the Tom Bombadil in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is that dude's whole story? Like, why they're like this dude is like, what's his deal? Right? And I think sorry to interrupt, but like I was trying to think of that earlier, and I got distracted by both Vanilla Ice and the rapper Snow, so I didn't think of it.
Informa, Tomadumba,
But Tom Bombadil's a character in Lord of the Rings that did not show up in the movies, where you're like, hey, what's that dude's deal? Like, what's his whole thing, right? And then like that's a bit of a Meg Mucklebones, but like Meg Mucklebones kind of
move down.
And it's not in short supply of like great performance and great makeup because those are fantastic.
Yeah.
The colors, that shade of green in the director's cut, oh man, it's perfect. But it's a completely superfluous and doesn't add anything. And you're competing with fucking Tim Curry as Darkness.
Meg Mucklebones is the Sarah Palin of legend. Everyone's talking about it.
Meg
COVID twice.
COVID, and then went to a restaurant and infected everyone with COVID. And we just don't care. We just don't care, folks. We just don't care. Yeah.
No energy, Meg Mucklebones. All right,
I'm surprised those.
Really in the show to start with that.
I'm surprised those bones even made it this far.
Am I right, folks? Anyway,
so we're gonna do a little bit of a switch up after this one. I have to add something to the parents one.
Okay.
So you gotta give the awards real quick. I go with Meg too. But
I did that while you were incognito mode.
In snow mode.
Yeah.
While I was being an informer.
I like you boom boom now. Yes.
And that's why Forrest was in prison.
One of the funniest How I Met Your Mother jokes was that Marshall, like the character, you know, like that's played by Jason. What the fuck is his name? The one that was in the Muppets. They show him as like when he was Marshall, they show him as like a young kid, and he's listening to an informer, and he's like, "I like you, boom boom down," and then they like cut to something else.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's good because that's a fucking dog shit song, and everyone knows it.
Informa. I didn't know that it was a white guy that sang it though for the longest time. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, from Canada.
His name was Snow. That didn't clue you in that he was
Canadian. He could have been,
Informa, eh?
but the other thing too, that's hilarious was back in college, we would troll one of the friends who was a DJ at the college station, and so every once in a while we just would like create characters and be like with random requests, make them feel like people are listening to shows. Like, yo man, can you play Informa? That's like my favorite song, yo.
Listen,
we actually got to play Informer, and then we called it back. We're like, what the hell are you playing Informer for?
Totally licky boom boom down. Can you...
The snow stream, literally.
It's the law.
All right, so this
what are we doing now? Okay,
we're getting into some territory where it's not every movie anymore. So this is the category best and worst.
Keep up.
Moments.
Best and worst romance. Yes, because what is fantasy if not a opportunity for romance? Right. It's a kissing movie, or is it?
Other times,
Maybe
it's a
it is.
kid
Maybe it
growing up and realizing that frat guys are gonna molest them. One or the other. There's two.
Is that Time Bandits? Is that what that was? Okay.
No, I was talking about the Fireys.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
okay. So
but,
anyway, but romance, we love it, folks. People are talking about it more and more. Look at that mustache. How can you not love that mustache? This is the category. Let's go, baby. It was the best of romance. It was the worst of romance. That's right. The best and the worst romance. Sometimes they can be the same romance. Just look at it on the timeline, folks. That's right. You're sitting here with Movie Night Extravaganza. Forrest is on mute, and I don't care.
Whoever does. No.
Well, I think it's look like I was just saying,
No, I meant me being on mute.
Yeah.
That scene with Adam and Gina, and Alec Baldwin and Adam and was Barbara. Is that
Yes, Barbara.
Right? Barbara.
They're coming for you, Barbara. That's what they're referencing.
That's right. So Barbara and Adam, the Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis characters, like I mean, that's a heavy moment, like with the whole like the aging
Exercising
thing and
the dead, yeah.
Like that's real heavy, Like that's. I gotta say, I think Beetlejuice is a dark horse contender for this.
Yeah.
So that said,
we all nodded to that, so maybe not so dark horse.
Well, but that said, as I said in a classic episode about The Princess Bride, perhaps the best movie about a romantic engagement that I can think of. So like it's pretty pure. It's pretty pure and fantastical.
She is bare minimum. Movie.
She's hot, and that's all that counts, right? But like, no, like, I mean, her character is fundamentally useless from an adventure perspective.
Yeah,
but a great,
also from a romance perspective.
But also,
but look at the Wesley side. Like, what does he do to like get to her? Like, that's beyond moving mountains, right?
Yeah.
I feel like from like a teenage girl's perspective, I bet most teenage girls would be like, "Oh, I want to be with that Goblin King so bad."
So that's another thing, right? Exactly. So and like, look.
I mean, come on, he was trying to get with her. Let's be real here. Like, we can say it. Like, it's so obvious.
I mean, there's a lot of Goblin.
When you say it, oh no, we're gonna get canceled for age gap.
Yeah. Well.
And don't forget about. Don't forget about Mork and that guy he met on the beach in Rio. at 19.
Homework.substack.com.
He's a congressman now.
From Kentucky, right?
Apparently, from I don't know.
And also allegedly, like, let's just drop this immediately. Also allegedly, Dark Crystal, there was romance between the Gelflings, which I'm told.
Ugh.
Well, they dream melded, right? Like they dream.
Yeah, we get it.
But he never figured out she had wings until the end.
Yeah, I mean it's.
Well, he's a two-pump chump.
The best.
You know, he wasn't exploring the body. He was just he was there to dream fast.
All the wings, and he
when
was
I say
done.
fast, I mean fast.
as opposed to Time Bandits, which there's no romance whatsoever in that.
Thank God that kid was like fucking 8.
You mean not between Michael Palin and Shelley Duvall?
That seemed romantic to you?
You no longer have the no. I know.
It's funny, but it's like, yeah, a 10-year-old's version of romance, as we adequately described in the episode that you absolutely should not watch unless you feel like you want like random conversations. But yeah,
I cut out half an hour of that episode. And so the YouTube
sure
version, watch the YouTube version.
It's a superior.
Very
cut.
funny. It's very funny.
The colors corrected and everything.
Because there was 15 minutes of just laughing in that episode.
All right. So point of order: best romance in the movie. This fucking wrap this goddamn show up. Kristina, best romance for these films. What's your favorite?
Adam and Barbara, I would say, from Beetlejuice. I mean, they were newlyweds. You know, they had their whole life ahead of them, and then they die, and then they're about to like die for realsies, I guess. And you could tell they were so dedicated to each other.
Yeah, there's something about like the way, and I understand its makeup, but the way that Gina Davis characters look at Alec Baldwin's character, where it's like, oh, that's like, fuck, that could hit like way different if it wasn't like fantastical, magical stuff happening like that. That's some like we have great. Hold on. Give me like 3 more seconds.
I need to hop off to take care of. I wanted to.
Okay.
I wanted to add something to our next one. So I wanted to hop off, and then I was going to let you control.
Okay. So fine. Happy to do it. So to me, like that scene, and it's not meant to be that way, but like it's meant to be like, hey, fantastical, magical stuff's happening, et cetera, but they're being drained of their essence. So think of like your grandmother or your grandfather or your great-grandmother, great-grandfather, whoever, or your mother and your father, and like having this relationship and like knowing someone's about to go and seeing that personified. And a movie that literally has the villain as a fucking cartoon snake running around and like, you know, like other like wacky.
And he actually like stopped, like in a way, Beetlejuice ends up like preventing it from getting worse. So in a way, you know, he had some redeeming qualities.
Right, exactly. Which, since we eliminated the best sex pest category of this particular award show, let's give a shout out to Beetlejuice for that, because I gotta say on rewatch that did hit me, and you know, like whatever, like, you know, people get older, you lose people, et cetera, but it was like, wow, that's not something I gave a damn about when I was like, you know, 13 and crushing whatever.
Yep.
So, Andy.
I was initially going to say.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
I want to throw in Adam and Barbara for best, and then the Gelflings for worst. I'll be back on in a minute. I just wanted to add something.
We got it. Cool.
All right.
I would say Gelflings 2 for worst.
Well, we're not talking about worst. We're talking about best, which is obviously Tom Cruise and Meg Mickelbaum. I mean, well, except for the fact that Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis really is the best, but close second, Tom Cruise and Meg Mickelbaum. Like, aren't you so pretty in my shield? Oh yes, I'm pretty.
Yeah, exactly. Chop done. Moving on.
He was pretty quick about it too. You know, even quicker than the Gelflings.
Well, look, there's a reason he doesn't wear pants.
Yes.
About it.
You gotta do the envelope thingy majiggy.
All right. So we're doing it? Yes, we're doing it. All right. The winner for Was it best romance? Is that what we're doing? Yeah, the winner for best romance. Adam and Barbara, Beetlejuice, Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, everybody. That's right. That's right. Wait, hold on. I'm not even really close to where I need to be. There we go. Surprise upset. Surprise upset. And I say that as someone that called Princess Bride one of the great romances of our time. And I do stand by that.
I think the movie's more romantic, but like the love isn't as pure.
Yes, I think it's more, well, it's fairy tale like in that way.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Whereas you get to see like, you know, like they have like Alec and Gina have a couple of months are like, oh, I guess we just none of the things we tried are gonna work, and we're going to die like for real now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which is like, whoa, stuff got heavy for a second, Tim Burton. Okay, you know, like that's and that, you know, again, you look, you see things different as an adult human as you do as a kid, and that's actually a low-key reason why the humanity of Tim Burton is the secret of why his movies, especially the early ones, like really work. I know you got kind of cheated out of talking about some of that stuff, Andy. I don't know if you want to expound.
Well, specifically, I was mostly going to talk about the colors because I think Beetlejuice was kind of the last movie with colors before his modern period where he's, you know, CGIing everything to death. And I would say Big Fish is kind of like the transition movie. Because,
that's a good point, because I like Big Fish a lot, but it does have that kind of like a little CGI.
But it also has colors and it's used very beautifully. And that's why I kind of point that out as a transition movie, because everything up to that was very black and white. And that's kind of where he went after Beetlejuice was very black and white, because Batman was black and white. Edward Scissorhands.
Black and white.
And Edward Scissorhands, the way he also played with the black and white versus the pastels of the suburban landscape was just, you know, incredible. But you can kind of see the you know, the very beginnings of that visual kind of language that he kind of branch out through the 90s pretty much in this movie. Like the kernels are there, not so much in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. You know, I'm not, you know,
sure, which I love.
You know, because that to me is not a Tim Burton movie, in the truest sense.
Yeah.
I
would agree with that.
Yeah. It's you know, Tim Burton did direct it, and he made a lot of stuff. You know, it's important that he was involved with that, but that's not in the canon of Tim Burton movies. Pee-wee's is like a, you know, like an asterisk. But Frankenweenie, the original, which was filmed in black and white. And Ed Wood was also filmed in black and white, you know, two very specific ones where he actually got to play more with shadow, which is nice. And then there's Mars Attacks, which is another asterisk.
I love Mars Attacks, but it's definitely an asterisk for sure.
Yeah, because that one kind of like is the forebearer of really what comes later after Big Fish.
Right. And we don't like that as much. So Kristina, Labyrinth, romance, go.
Oh, well, like, what do you mean? Like,
do you feel like, so on one hand, I feel like I can argue both sides of this. Like, I feel like I can be like, oh, it's a classic doomed romance, but it's also like very inappropriate also. But also, it's fantasy and like whatever. But yes, it probably is, because she's like 15, right? So
yeah, technically she's 16, and her character in the film is 16. I'm like, okay, but like, that's old enough to get married. I guess.
I was gonna say, I guess it depends on where the movie's located, but
15's legal in Vermont.
Yeah, like it's all about age of consent laws here, people. But like,
long story.
What was the point of that whole scene with the masquerade and the music and the dancing?
Real?
Like, come on, you're just trying to court her.
I think it's also like a temptation for her, because like she's been living in a fantasy world and he's offering her that fantasy world.
Yeah.
And is there romance in the fantasy world?
So let me throw this out there, and y'all can tell me how you feel about it. That like, do you feel that Jareth is like on the level with it, or is he just bored?
He wants her. He's like, I'm tired of living this life of being this great goblin king. I need to settle down, you know.
With his crumb bum puppets hassling chickens.
Yes.
Which is their chief activity, as we've all established.
Yes.
Like seriously, he's like he's looking for a wife, is what he's all about.
Which
right now.
I mean, let's be explicitly clear. You could do far worse than Jennifer Connelly, but like
I know,
age appropriate.
Yeah, Amon is the clear winner.
I mean, I'm technically of age, so yeah.
Yeah. All right. Because I think that you could and the reason why I bring this up is I think you can state a case that Jareth is just having a laugh, like whatever, like he's bored.
Yeah.
He's clearly a bored king, a bored goblin king, and like maybe he cares, maybe he doesn't, maybe he's just trying to find some way to engage himself in a way of Cruel Intentions or something along those lines. I don't know. I mean, that's a different movie. Don't get me wrong, but
That'd be a good movie night to talk about.
I just realized I watched that movie years ago and I forgot.
You forgot about it? Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
So
worst romance?
Yeah, is it Dark Crystal?
Yes.
Or is it Legend?
Ooh. Because like Tom Cruise had about as much chemistry as those puppets.
Well, so I feel like, and like, let's be clear, as we've adequately established, I feel Dark Crystal is a 5-star movie, but as a romance, look, man, really, like I'm not buying it for a second. And it's not that I don't like the characters; I do like the characters, but it seems tacked on. It seems tacked on and like necessary for the overall conceit. So let's pretend I just said all those things for Legend, because it's just exactly the same stuff.
Yeah. We have a tie for once.
I mean, like, all right, Nature Boy's like running around without any pants, and like he's crushing on this chick, I guess. So I hear. And
what's interesting is like different cuts have different endings too with their romance. Because there are 3 cuts and 3 different endings.
Which is 3 too many, frankly. It's like
it's like Clue at this point. Another Tim Curry movie.
We get it. We get it, Legend. But I think that like so those are both deep contenders. I think the worst is almost objectively. Again, thank God there's nothing in Time Bandits, but like Dark Crystal, Dark Crystal or Legend.
Michael Palin, come on.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that that's hard because both of them are like you're told that you should care about this, and you were never shown.
Yeah.
So.
And there was more chemistry between Tom Cruise and Meg Meckelbones than Tom Cruise and whatever her name is.
Exactly, whatever her fucking name is. So that's why. So I'm legitimately torn between those, and because I'm legitimately torn between them, I'm gonna throw it to Kristina, which is what I do when I'm in trouble. Kristina, what do you say here?
I have to go with Dark Crystal.
All right, it's a vote for Dark Crystal for worst romance. Andy, rock ass eater. Obviously, no romance. It's in your name.
Because like puppets don't inherently have chemistry. Like it's really hard to get chemistry across with puppets. And you have 2 real people who had no chemistry.
One of the iconic couples.
Legend.
All right, okay. I like that you just railroaded past the puppets have no chemistry and refuse to hear any critical
Kermit
analysis.
and Miss Piggy would like to have a word.
No, Kermit and Miss Piggy have chemistry. Jen and whatever her name is.
Kermit and Miss Piggy are cursed by their chemistry because they don't seem like people that would, or puppets.
Well, that's just Frank Oz and
they just keep
but
they just keep being back together again.
See, if Jen had a relationship with Big Titty Yoda, that'd be a different story.
All right, what are we doing here? Because we have one last category after this. So
what are we doing here? I ask myself that question all the time on this show. So we're trying to figure. So we decided who the best romance was, right? Which was Beetlejuice. We landed on Beetlejuice for all the reasons.
They're sweet. They bought a house. It makes sense.
But it's either Dark Crystal or Legend as the final.
Let's go Dark Crystal.
Romance.
Yeah,
well, Kristina, thank you. Okay, go ahead.
No, I told you before I logged off. My vote was Dark Crystal.
I know, and so I was gonna say it's Dark Crystal. Yeah, and I say that just because we've beaten up on Legend plenty, but also because the romance is supposed to be part of the story, and it's the only part that doesn't work. Yeah, it's the only part that you're like, I don't care about this.
Yeah,
I don't care about this, like even a little bit. And it's not that you don't care about the characters, you do, but you're like, I just don't buy this. Like, there's no stakes.
Like, this is the least important part of the whole story. Let's
go indeed. So the oh wait, hold on, the Academy has screwed this up once again. What was the accounting agency that screwed it up for La La Land and Moonlight?
Yeah.
Yeah, those
the movie with Ben Affleck.
It's like a 50-person process handing
those pricks screwed it up again, clearly. So the worst romance movie night Fantasia is Dark Crystal. Nobody believes you. There you go.
Yeah.
Nobody believes that you weren't looking at Agra.
Yeah, I felt like Agra. Look, it was a tough competition this year. Agra as a side character is sort of like definitely a where's that character spin-off show, where it's just kind of like the Netflix Dark Crystal, frankly. But yeah, it's a tough competition. You're with them with a fire race. Fuck out of here.
No, I meant Jen was looking right at Agra with her. It's 1980. It's 1982. She's swinging those titties around. I don't know. I'm just saying, folks. I'm just asking questions. So
there's more titty swinging than you expect from a movie with as many puppets as there are. Yes.
I mean, I expected more titty, but whatever.
We got a parents category too.
This is the last one. This is the last one.
Last one, folks. Movie Night Fantasia.
So I'm gonna cop to this. Last night was really tired by the end of this. It was like 3 a.m. by the time I finished grabbing different parts of these movies to put together. I forgot the best parent moment in this entire thing, which is Time Bandit when they explode. So that's what I had to just add. And I also had to, put Audrey in her crate. But
well, so yeah, a lot of terrible parents in these movies. That's kind of like endemic to like the type of movie that this is, right? So So the name of this, what is it's worst parent? Is that the name of this category?
Best, worst, just best parent, worst parent.
Best parents, worst parents. Yeah, let's do it.
I don't think there are really best. I mean, well, there's one, and you weren't on for that episode. It was, there was one good parent that we really watched, and we didn't even include. I didn't even include it in any of these categories besides this.
Exactly, it's non-canonical because it didn't involve me. Best parent, worst parent. Parents, why won't they shut up? Parents, shut the fuck up. The Descendants. Thank you. Parents, folks.
I already have my
got them.
Yeah, every single one though. It's like, damn, those are some bad parents. Damn, those are some bad parents.
That one's
Kristina,
bad too.
let's hear it. Let's hear your pick.
Okay, best are definitely the Deetses. Because, come on, they're just so entertaining. Like,
but is that the category? But is that the definite? I mean, Is that the definition we're going?
Is entertaining. Look, I had hippie parents. I'm not gonna say they were great parents, but they were deeply entertaining on a fundamental
level. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
I had a much poorer version of the Dietzes.
Oh, I didn't,
and I still do. They're alive and kicking it, and still like that.
And the worst would have to be Labyrinth, just because you don't really. They're not really in the movie, so it's like whatever.
See, I don't know what everyone else thinks about this. I feel like Time Bandits is the worst parent.
Yes,
I don't.
That's my pick.
They literally explode at the end of the movie.
Well, and as we establish, or as we attempt
Mom,
to
Dad, evil.
Yeah, don't touch it. It's concentrated evil. Touch it immediately. You got it. Done. Explode.
Well, they're just like it's an appliance, and those parents the entire fucking movie are talking about how much they like and dislike their appliances. So like
this category's in 3D.
Yeah. Well, and like more importantly, and this is the point I attempted to get across with the these are bad movies, girls, but like
they're sexist. They'll show up and
they are acutely uninterested in their very bright child's encyclopedic knowledge and interest in history. All they care about are appliances and like whatever the thing of the day.
Is that how you get Daniel Bessner? I feel like that's how you get Daniel Bessner as a.
I'd say Daniel Bessner coming on the show, but he's coming on next month. So
yeah, and he's someone that I like immensely. But I'm just saying,
that maybe
he's fun too.
Yeah.
I was listening to Hinge, and I was listening to the one where he's talking about how 9/11 shaped his decision to go into like learning about foreign policy, which is a so.
Were you ever screaming to your parents about "Do not touch the concentrated evil"? Is that a thing that you ever did? Because if so, you may be the kid from Time Bandits,
or Daniel Bessner.
Somebody clip this and send it to him. I'll do it, but I won't. Yeah, those are some pretty bad parents. Like they're comically bad. Like I feel like there's some ambiguity towards like I feel like look. I don't feel like we need to like see the cut of Labyrinth. It's a pro-parent movie, but I feel like they're mostly just kind of like self-involved. Which, if that was the metric,
and even not just self-involved, they're self-involved for that night. Like they just want to have a date night.
They just want to have a fucking one night alone from like their monstrous child, and from their like self-involved but very cute young lady daughter.
That looks nothing like them. Let's be real here. This was the time when parents and child casting was just
She looks like her mom. That's not in the movie.
Look nothing alike.
She looks like Sir not appearing in this movie.
Well, exactly. She probably looks exactly.
They've gotten better though.
Sure. And then point of order, the Deets is as much as like, look, man, I'm gonna sit here and like talk trash about Catherine O'Hara. I mean, she's fucking awesome. Especially this is the peak of her fucking power, right? Like, but by the same token. Look, I'm artsy as shit.
She's a terrible artist.
But first of all, she's bad at it. Secondly, she's super involved with it to the point of exclusion of all else, which ultimately makes her a bad parent.
Yeah.
So I mean, Conan, bad dad, Neutron. Thank you.
She's a step parent, the same way that presumably she's not as involved with Lydia as the father is, and the father. It's not that he's a bad parent as much as he seems to be going through a nervous breakdown, caused by it seems like Reagan era capitalism, here we
go,
or maybe it's his wife.
Well,
or by his wife, but like
all
it seems like a big part of it is the amount of pressure that comes with these deals, these like real estate deals, where you have to kind of buy up an entire large swath of property, and then you let Robert Goulet.
Robert Goulet. Oh my God, Robert Goulet. Sorry.
You let him sing, and you let him steal the Pink Panther, and wasn't he was the villain in the Pink Panther, the original one, where he stole the fucking jewel.
Moving on. Anyway,
but you let Robert Goulet's Pink Panther money that he now invests in real estate 20 years later.
Better than crypto.
he's having a nervous breakdown from the amount of pressure that comes with creating these deals, and he's an anxious person, and mental health is not the biggest concern of Reagan era capitalism, and he just happens to wander into Connecticut, which is not where I would go if I was having a nervous breakdown. I would go a different part of the country, not like, but he wants to be back.
You've been to Connecticut?
I mean, I've gone to Connecticut a lot. I have cousins in Connecticut.
I lived there for 3 years. That's the place where you get a nervous breakdown.
That's where he's going to cure his nervous breakdown, though. That's crazy. I don't think that they're bad parents in the sense of like the way that in Time Bandit they literally are awful parents.
I mean, the worst possible, like cartoon villains of parents, like just like
they're parents
meant
at the
to
end
be
of an
like,
empire. They're middle class. They're middle class, declining parents at the end of an empire. I don't want to go into that whole speech again, but I'm just saying, like, I do think.
But you're not wrong. Yeah. They're meant to be an object lesson. These parents are meant to be like, hey, here is what you dicks are going to turn into if you don't like fucking cut this fucking happy horse shit out, right? And like that's like
a lesson about here's what has happened to America, but like England declined at an earlier point. So like looking at it in that sense is like I've been rewatching Can't Get You Out of My Head, the Adam Curtis docuseries, and it's literally that, like, people freaking out about the fact that not only are they downwardly mobile, but like England itself is downwardly mobile. That's what a big portion,
right? And that's where this came from. Because remember, this is 81, right? So they're taking it from a farcical perspective and trying to like make people like kind of like laugh, but also think about it, and the fact that like they're like comically bad, and they're purposely caricatured, because it's sort of like, hey, this is what y'all are doing, and like you're going to be the ones that like you're going to trust the appliance more than your child.
Your child's very interested in Napoleon, and you're very interested in your microwave. So
I mean, exactly. These
so
are the
worst parents. My choice is Time Bandits. Best parents. I'm gonna go with the dad in My Neighbor Totoro, because I think that he's a absent-minded guy, but he's a good dad.
So I gotta agree. It's the worst is like by like a large margin Time Bandits, who are meant to be like mundanely villainous.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's
at the very least mundanely negligent.
I'm gonna throw out, because it was, I assume it's a choice because it was in the clip. You don't see Fred Savage's parents in Princess Bride, but Peter Falk is fucking
you
cool.
See his mom.
I see the mom.
You see the mom briefly, but you never really get to see like her do anything.
And he's like, my grandpa's gonna pinch my cheeks, and she's like, dude, your grandpa is Columbo. Show him some fucking respect and shut the fuck up and listen to Uncle John Cassavetes.
Exactly. Cut that shit out. So my outside the box choice for best is Peter Falk as the grandfather in Princess Bride.
That would be my choice too if we didn't watch My Neighbor Totoro, which played such a had the father play such a big role within that movie.
Wasn't on that show, doesn't count, not canonically for me. But Peter Falk as in the Princess Bride actually reminds me of my own grandfather, who did some of that same shit, including the like, oh yeah, I guess I read that part already, like
shut the fuck up, kid, and listen to my story.
One more thing, and then what happened with Physic was so I'm gonna go Peter Falk, which is I understand is probably not gonna swing a vote either way, but that's my choice. So Andy, go ahead.
If we're only going with the ones you're canonically on, I'd agree, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, like Totoro really is a great loving relationship between a father and his children. That is
it's maybe the only one on all of these movies, frankly.
Yeah, no, it is absolutely heartwarming.
Just kind of says more about fatherhood.
There's a but right here. There's a big but. Just twerking up and down. But because his wife is in the hospital.
He said a big butt twerking up. It made sense to me. I liked it. I thought
it
was what?
I said they don't lie.
I said what? I said what? In the butt? I said what? In the butt.
You want to put it in my butt? Okay.
Anyways, because his wife was in the hospital dying of some unknown disease or whatever.
Which I assume was radiation, and then when it isn't, makes me feel a little bit racist. That I'm like, oh, I assume that it.
I thought it was cancer and she dies in it, and
Yeah.
but I was a little stoned when I first watched the movie.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was 6. So
it was a fucking grown ass man.
I knew
Anyways,
about Hiroshima for whatever reason.
Fantastic. Right,
because of his distraction of Are we gonna end this tonight? We're just gonna do this all night.
We're yeah. It feels like I know it's not. It feels like we're on the Murder Night Extravaganza show again.
It's just, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Literally, when we get to the end of this, I'm ending the stream. So
thank God.
Okay.
All right.
But basically, because the fact that even though he absolutely loves his children, he also loves his wife and is completely distracted by her sickness. Because we don't even know what it is in the movie.
And it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter at all. That's not important. But that distraction of his sickness edges Peter Falk into the winner's circle for me. There we go. See, that's what I was trying to get to.
Peter Falk. All right.
Stop being distracted by sick wives, I guess.
How about sick beats? Can we just back to those? Anyway, moving on. Kristina, go ahead.
Fireys win.
Fireys win again.
I guess you guys have maybe changed my mind about like when it comes to, because we never, like I said, we don't see much of the parents from Labyrinth. I still think the Deets are entertaining for like best parents, just because I go by like entertainment and if they're like engaging enough.
Go by entertainment.
Well, I'm sorry. That's just how it is.
Kristina, Entertainment Oaks.
Yes. But I think
entertainment
for 12 hours distracts to things.
That's like, that's what the E in Chuck E. Cheese stands for, and I'm not kidding about that. That's it actually does stand for entertainment.
Chuck E. Entertainment Cheese.
Look it up. It's on the internet. Go ahead.
But but also too, I think the parents and the Time Bandits are definitely like the worst.
Oh shit. Like the worst, right?
In every single way possible.
Yeah.
Well, it's parents at the end of an empire. It's parents that are downwardly mobile, and not only downwardly mobile 40 years after the most powerful empire really in world history before the U.S. declined. So it's like, I don't know. I think too much about these movies, but like that really is what it brought forward for me. And then I started watching Can't Get You Out of My Head.
So, can't get this out of my head. Best Parents Movie Night Fantasia Awards. Not a parent at all. Peter Falk, Princess Bride. Let's give a hand out to the grandparents who are also parents. Who are the job of parents.
If your parent says no, ask your grandparents. They'll say yes.
And hopefully they don't have Mein Kampf anywhere in their house.
And if your granddad is Columbo, let him read you a story. He probably knows what the fuck is up.
And if your granddad is John Cassavetes, that was almost me, apparently.
And then Worst Parent Award, surprising literally no one. The parents from Time Bandits. Fucking terrible. We hate you. We're glad you're dead.
I hope you guys enjoyed that fucking microwave.
yeah, exactly.
All right.
Hope you had a good time with your appliances, y'all.
This is the end of the month. Thank you all for doing this. I know everyone's tired. It's a Sunday night.
And it's the most important. That's the end of the show, so that's the most important thing of all. But yes, it's the end of the month. It was a good month. This was a good look. I know we're not doing final thoughts. This was a good month. This is a good month of movies.
Yeah.
Yep.
I say next January. Let's do this again.
Exactly. Second annual Movie Night Fantasia Awards. Let's do it. It's an excuse to play the theme again. It's a fucking good time. Everyone loves it. We're talking about it more and more. Go ahead, of course.
All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Movie Night Extra on Patreon. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. Whichever one you're not watching this on, please subscribe to that one. Because I'm gonna put this on. I'm gonna put this on the old YouTube on Tuesday.
On the internet. What do you want from me?
Yeah. Anyway, on Wednesday we're gonna be doing. Wednesday the 2nd of February, which is early for us, but whatever. we're gonna be doing our This Is Revolution episode. Tune in for
our
that.
monthly crossover. A monthly crossover. Yes.
And
Which,
we're taking a much needed week break.
Yeah.
And after that, and I'm excited for that because I have really run myself ragged. So good night, everybody. Happy Sunday. Good morning. Sunday morning.